5. We're talking with Judge Mathis. He's in the house. Briefly, because I've heard the story, for those who are living in a cave somewhere who aren't familiar with your rise to
I think they
to the
came out of
bench.
the caves a few hundred years ago, or maybe tens of thousands. Go ahead.
I'm not going there with you.
You scared?
No, very much not.
I'm
But
just
I don't
having
want to
fun.
waste my time with you
That's
going,
right.
talking about that history. 17 years old, you were arrested. Ended up in juvenile.
Not juvenile. I was tried as an adult.
It tried you as an adult at 17.
Yep.
How did you understand or comprehend what that meant?
Oh,
What did you do, by the way?
Oh, yeah. That one was carrying a gun, and a little something to it, but I was convicted of, pled guilty to carrying a gun. And so, quite frankly, it wasn't anything I wasn't used to. I had been locked up in juvenile several times. Everybody around me in the housing projects I grew up in were in and out of jail, in and out of juvenile, in and out of prison. So it wasn't something, as is the case today, that was so strange. It wasn't strange at all. It was more commonplace. How did I feel? I felt like I was following the pattern of all the other young people I knew and all the adults who had a record. In fact, it was a badge of honor. It was a badge of honor to go to jail and say I did 11 months. That when you come out, you're tougher, you get more respect, etc.
So your mother came to visit you, and she told you that she had cancer.
This is the way she put it. She said, Gregory, you've embarrassed me in front of the community all your life. You've embarrassed me in the neighborhood, rather, all your life. You've embarrassed me at school all of your life. You've embarrassed me at church all of your life. Just left the doctor yesterday, and he says, I'm going to die. Would you please turn your life around before I die? That put me on the fast track to the GED, to affirmative action, college opportunity. That's why I'm such strongly in favor of that. Here I am, 6 months out of jail with a GED. I was admitted to a major university, Eastern Michigan University. 3 months later, she died after I entered college. But
she got to see you go to college.
Mm-hmm, yep.
I mean, you think just that beautiful woman telling you that day turned you completely around. And I think about the millions of young kids who just, looking for that word. How do we reach them?
Well, first of all, we have to wake them up, hit them upside the head. I say crack their heads open. And the way we do that is bring them the knowledge of themselves, bring them the knowledge of history so that they'll know what they're facing. A lot of times there's so much hopelessness and despair in our community because we really don't know how to overcome it, and we really haven't seen many people or touched many people that have overcame. And so that's why I use my journey as an example to show brothers and sisters, but more importantly, black men, black youth, how they can fight back. And I began my college career. I was engaged in immediately campus activism because when I got there, I saw the distinction. I had grown up, as many of us do, in abject poverty and crime and drug-infested neighborhoods. When I went there to college, everybody had money. Everybody was smiling and having fun. I hadn't seen so many people smiling in my life. I guess they had a lot to smile about, and where I came from, they didn't. So that contrast immediately said something's wrong with this picture. And I began to educate myself about history and about the modern times, and that informed me on how to overcome, and that is first fighting back and empowering yourself, and not letting anybody, and I got to talk plain as I do. I'm even more plain when I'm off television. Not letting anybody punk you out. Society punk you out. Black men in particular, we have this super macho attitude. We're on the street talking about we want our respect. But then we scared of white folks. You ask them to go down to training skilled trades, or they come back, the white folks don't want me there. Then no, they don't. So
and
it's right. It's about competition. And you have brothers from the streets have more instincts, survival instincts, one, and more aggression, two, because one, you've had to survive, dodge the police most of your life, dodge the enemies. If you're in the game, you're playing the game most of the day and night. And so it's a lot easier when you get to college or whether it's community college.
Than the streets of Detroit.
There's no question about it. It was like a fairyland when I left Detroit and went there. But the other point there is escaping the environment. That's a big part of it. And that's why 70% of our brothers who come home from captivity, they return within a year because they're going right back to the same environment with the same peer pressure. And peer pressure is probably the most culpable thing in impoverished communities. Is either you're prey or you're a predator. Either you're going to get robbed or whatever the case. Doing the robbing. Yeah. And so
it's very black and white.
Correct. And so getting out of that, escaping that is what I was able to do. 6 months later, I was able to leave the hood and go to college.
Change of venue.
Exactly. And although I did a little lightweight hustling, it was nothing that would have given me any real
what
time.
What was being done on the campuses?
Well, you know what they do on college.
They don't roll up on the college campuses with the guns out.
Right.
They bet not.
Getting out that environment, empowering yourself with some form of education, and then the will to fight back and not punk out.